And now, Knock 2 Studios presents Common Censored.
I love going around the country because you see that Americans really are more reasonable than they would be portrayed.
Absolutely,
they're pretty great, and I'm
true.
playing bigger and bigger venues now. I thought being a mom would mean that less people would want to come see me. I'm now playing, like 3,000 seat theaters,
awesome.
which is about the viewership of CNN these days.
Well,
Not
nice.
this show, though.
Nice.
All eyes are on this show.
Wow, you're all firing.
Andy and I had a tour. We did like 3,000
remember.
people. Yes.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Common Censored. That was comedian Whitney Cummings calling out CNN to their face for low, terrible viewership. I've been playing 3,000-person venues, about the same audience size as CNN. Love to see it. Hilarious. Welcome back, all you censored commoners. Thanks for being here today. I'm Lord Sterling, and this is episode 310. New Year's terror attacks and the second Trump assassination attempt connected, not only to each other, but to the Fort Bragg Army 4th Psychological Warfare Group. What? This is starting to get real crazy at this point. We'll get into that in detail in a little bit. Biden also moving to block new drilling to interfere with Trump's new term and his agenda. Super messed up. That and a lot more today. Join us Monday through Friday, 6:45 p.m.-ish Eastern Time as we cover all the crazy clown world clusterfuck chaos that now is 2025. Use hashtag Common Censored and hashtag InfoInfantry when you share the show. You can find us on X at Lord Sterling _ Sterling with 2 I's and no E's. I know it's a confusing one, but George Washington spelled it wrong, so I can't get mad if you do. Thank you to our new followers who have joined us over the night from since the show last evening. Links to all of the topics we discussed today, all of the resources, articles, videos, content, etc. will be posted down in the video description on Rumble. And Mama Mac will be adding some timestamps if she sticks around. She's not feeling great, so feel free to dip out, Mama Mac, like yesterday if you need to at any given point in time. It's all good. No pressure, but at least for now, she'll be adding timestamps. So if you're watching this later on and need to maximize the time and efficiency of your attention, maximize the efficiency of your time and attention, then click on down there, find the topics that interest you, and jump right to the point in the show where we cover them. Make sure to throw Mama Mac some love also over at alplama.com, ALPLAMA.com, your new herbal health guru. And if you want to support the show directly, you can hit up our link tree at Common Censored. Disclaimer. Views expressed on Common Censored are only opinions. Assume everything we say is false and research for yourself. We're not giving medical, legal, or financial advice. The only advice we are giving is think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Boom! All right, let's jump into this stuff. I saw this full video last night, which is hilarious. And I only had that short clip yesterday, so I wanted to play the full thing for you. From the Post-Millennial, who posted this at TPostMillennial on X. Whitney Cummings roasts 2024 on CNN's New Year's Eve special. We played that part yesterday, but man, I can't believe that this whole thing aired. And she kept being like, am I still going? And they let it go. Something is happening over at CNN. What was she doing here, even in the first place? And they let her go for this whole rant. Let's listen. This is classic.
Well, this was the year that we learned that roasts probably shouldn't happen at important live events. Whitney Cummings, it is time for you to roast The year.
Oh, my Lord.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Feel free to heckle me. Feel free
Okay.
to come for me.
Never.
I do believe we need to hold 2024 accountable
Thanks,
for its
Chris.
behavior. That is what white women do now. We point out other things that are toxic because we don't get irony. And that is our truth. This was the year that people were behaving so poorly, we started being wistful about murderers. Remember, this was the year we were like, were the Menendez brothers so bad? Were we too
they abused,
hard on
though?
the Menendez brothers? This was the year we could not get enough of murderers. Gypsy Rose became our favorite
I don't know anything
celebrity
about the
because
Menendez.
murdering your mom is so brat. They had her on a red carpet, a little on the nose for a murderer, but she was like posing in a fancy dress. We were like, slay, and she was like, I did. And of course, our heartthrob of the year was the alleged cold-blooded killer named Luigi, who is now in the same prison as Diddy, which I'm very upset about because Luigi already has a lower back issue. This was the year nothing made sense. Fertility was down, sales of baby oil was up, white supremacy groups reached record highs. It got
Fertility was down. Sales of baby oil were up. That's so fucked
so bad,
up.
Ariana Grande became white again. 2024 totally broke our brains. Half the people I know think we're in a simulation. I'm starting to wonder. When I go to a website and it asks me if I'm a robot or not, half the time I get the quiz wrong. I'm like, does the shadow of a bike count as a bike? I don't know. Why am I looking at a grainy photo of a crack house? We just all broke mentally this year. Things got so bleak, we started watching the WNBA. Was that what happened? And we also started watching older women in movies. Equality or insanity? You tell me. Demi Moore was in a movie called The Substance, showing that Hollywood's ready for a woman in her 50s to star in a movie as long as a hot 28-year-old wears a leotard for most of it. Pam Anderson's getting Oscar buzz for a movie she did wearing no makeup. Guys, that's not progress if you call it brave. Documentaries finally realized the only way to make money is to just make them about cheerleaders. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleader doc showed the girls being treated horribly, underpaid, crying. I thought I'd open a video on Hunter Biden's laptop. This is the year everyone hated the movie The Joker, but if you do love watching men descend into insanity, in a couple hours you get to watch Andy Cohen do the countdown. In 2024, some things left us, some came back. Sanity left us. Somehow crypto is back. Do you guys even know what crypto? No one thought the timing of crypto was fishy. As soon as women started making money, they were like, money's over.
Money's over, ladies.
Money's over. I'm like, I don't even know what crypto is. As far as I understand, it's just astrology for men. Like, I don't. 2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh, God. Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No!
He didn't actually. He was looking at her laughing. He was like
Or
enjoying it.
Moderna, whichever one's. Oh, God. Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No!
Let me be clear, though. 2024 was not only negative. The media wants us to believe this country is so divided, but we actually came together a lot this year. Like, as a nation, we unanimously agreed that we would rather see J-Lo in a toxic relationship than in concert. We all agreed the government totally knows what drones are and are telling us. The drones are still up there, and we have no idea what's behind them. No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing. The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things. And since I only have a minute left live on establishment media, why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump Shooter didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird? Are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild. The why so many presidents' chefs died. Weird. Boy Scout of America, they renamed itself Scouting America. You know who else changed their name? Sean Combs. Just saying. Let's learn something in 2025. I can't believe you guys are still letting me go. This is amazing. I love CNN. Please stop me, Andy, because I will just keep going.
Happy New Year, Whitney Cummings.
Am I
They were
still
just
streaming?
Yes.
This is amazing.
We are live on CNN. You look cool as a cucumber.
No censorship on CNN.
Thank
Love
you
you guys.
very
Thanks for
much.
having me.
Love you.
What a dream.
No
Oh,
censorship
dream.
on
Oh,
CNN.
Anderson's here.
I only understood like half the references, so I'm.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
He doesn't-
I'm not a pop
he doesn't-
culture.
I tried to bring up a documentary.
I know.
He doesn't know. I know. He didn't see the Dallas
You didn't
Cowboys.
see the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader
No.
documentary?
Although I know, yes, I've heard about it. I've heard about it.
We have a lot more ahead as we say goodbye to 2024 and welcome the new year.
So funny. Six says, total clown show, damn clown show every single time. Earlier in the broadcast, they had a couple celebrities up there who happened to be black. And I think it was Anderson who was like, who wants shots? Who wants shots? Who want tequila? And the black guy was like, not me. The last black guy who drank on a New Year's Eve celebration on CNN got fired. And it was Don Lemon in 2017 who was lit up. There was a funny video of that going around as well. CNN tells the truth in the form of a comic roast. That's right, Monty. Happy New Year, bro. So I saw that Whitney Cummings had issued just a little statement on this. She said a lot of what I talked about on CNN last night regarding our brains breaking was inspired by touring the country and trying to, quote, do my own research in terms of people's realities without judgment. Thank you to everyone who will goof off with me at live shows. Tons more dates in 2025. She seemed pretty funny. I will give her that. Her delivery was on point. She was able to just boom, 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 go point by point. Let's see what this video is. I haven't actually checked it out.
Is anyone in conspiracies? Does anyone have a good one? We're in the Matrix.
Nice, Dozer.
I would take you so much more seriously if you weren't sitting alone in the corner. You got here late, okay. Because why, you were out of batteries? I think we all felt existential dread, but okay. Do you know this? Is your Make-A-Wish kid? Was it his wish? What do you do for a living? Are you like you're a behavioral therapist? What the Everybody, how do you counsel people? Don't forget to plug yourself in tonight. Is anyone in conspiracies? Does anyone have a good one?
Oh, man. That was good. Fun crowd interactions. I think Monty posted this in the chat. Georgia woman hit by apparent New Year's Eve celebratory gunfire. That's not good. Coming from Grantville, Georgia, reported by Fox 5. A Coweta County woman is recovering after officials say she was shot by what appears to be New Year's Eve celebratory gunfire. Officials with the Grantville Police Department say the shooting happened shortly after midnight on Canterbury Drive. According to police, the woman was driving when the bullet came through the top of her windshield and hit her leg. So is it upwards gunfire? Finally, one of those bullets that somebody shot up into the sky came down and actually hit somebody? Damn! Through the windshield, into her leg, downward trajectory. That's what it has to be, right? Medics took the woman to a local hospital for treatment. Officials say she's expected to survive her injuries. Good, it didn't take out the femoral artery then, probably, unless she took off her belt really quick and strapped her leg up. Damn. Glad to hear she's okay. Stop firing guns up into the air unless you're like shooting out into the ocean or something like that, but don't do that either. Not giving legal advice over here. Disclaimer. Ed posted this one, Wall Street Apes. Whoa! Social media account dedicated to raising awareness of major health insurance companies denying patients as being threatened by major insurance companies. They do not want everyone to see this. Quote, Cigna sent us the cease and desist letter. Quote, I have emails from Aetna saying, get off TikTok. This video contains the denials being posted and the actual letters being sent from a U.S. healthcare companies trying to silence people speaking up about their denials scam. Quote, health insurance companies in the U.S. deny 850 million claims each year. Then what's the point? You know, like what's the point if they're just going to deny everything? Let's check out a minute of this.
You want to talk to her? I'll get her on this phone call. I mean,
But we're speaking with you, that you don't tell them to call the physician's office. We have nothing to do with this. You guys are you're doing the wrong thing. My name is Julie. I'm the practice manager and the bathroom monitor. And my title,
we're getting, I would say, close to 50 denials a week.
yep, my last initial is B as in broomstick. And if you think Claudia had a bad attitude, you're going to love me.
We do what
And
we
she's
can
got a
do,
witch.
and then I
She's a
pivot
witch
to public shaming on social media. We have 17,100 followers on TikTok.
So people should be able to post about this stuff on social media freely. They're not violating any laws, and they're being threatened by insurance companies for things that actually did happen. So that's a little sketchy. That's just a little tiny bit sketchy. Link will be in the description if you guys want to watch the full video. Moving on to our next little bit of news. We have the man who died in the Cybertruck explosion outside of Las Vegas Trump Hotel ID'd as an Army Special Ops soldier. The truck was rented to Matthew Allen Livelsberger. Two senior law enforcement officials told NBC News. An Army spokesperson said Livelsberger was on approved leave.
My automatic pistol. I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic pistol.
And Ryan Routh, also the second Trump assassin, was logged. I think the post was from December 21st with Tony Saruga tracking his cell phone data, saying that he made 147 trips, I think it was, to Fort Bragg, which I will not use the current name of. I will always refer to it as Fort Bragg. That should be one of the first things we do is restore the names of our military bases, mountains, schools, etc. Let's continue.
And if you'll notice on a lot of these guns that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. There's a SLR model B30 semi.
The automatic pistol is the guns are burned beyond recognition, but that passport is just fine. Nothing to see here.
Automatic firearm, number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987. Now,
that's within a month of May.
On a picture of his driver's license. Let's see. The question really still remains for me, and I know that there's a lot of you folks in the media that are identifying this person as the person in our vehicle. As I mentioned to you already, his body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is the individual that was inside of our vehicle. And so, as I'm calling it now, the subject.
So crazy. The report literally says that we don't have confirmation, but they're saying that the article is saying that he's been ID'd. The guy who is in the truck, which contradicts the actual report here.
Or person of interest. I will not come back until I have the confirmation through DNA or medical records that this is indeed, in fact,
maybe this was yesterday,
the subject inside of the vehicle. Now, further complicating this identification of this individual, we also discovered through the coroner's office that the individual had sustained a gunshot wound
Fishing
to the
French
head
Indian.
prior to the detonation
Skunk, I see
of
you too,
the
bro.
vehicle. One of the handguns was found at his feet inside of the vehicle. Obviously, in how we're trying to identify him, and I'm feeling comfortable to give you this information, is a tremendous amount of substantial evidence to include he rented the Turo vehicle. There are 2 tattoos, one of which was on the stomach and one of which is on the arm, that we can see bits and pieces of it as in comparison to what it is that we now know he had.
Yeah, first they were like, this is not a terror event. And then they're like, yeah, this is a terror event. Yeah, so you can't trust anything FBI says, automatically suspicious 6.
On his body that has given us a lot of confidence that this is, in fact, the same person.
Fluster Clock, good to see ya.
The clearly obvious,
Happy New
which
Year.
is the credit cards, the military identification, the passport. And then furthermore, as you'll see here in just a very short period of time, we tracked his movements from Colorado to Las Vegas, and in a number of the photographs that we were able to determine, he was the individual that was driving the vehicle. And also, I'd like to iterate this point to you. We still have only ever seen him in this vehicle, and we're not aware of any other subjects involved in this particular case. Now, I would like to acknowledge a couple of things because I know what's going on in the social media world, and there are a number of things in this case that are similar to the attack in New Orleans. We do know that Our subject here served in the military. In fact, he's a current member of the military. Both of the subjects served at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. What we do know about
No
that
way,
is
Ed.
It's a very large military base, and we have no record that they served in the same unit or even at the same years at Fort Bragg, something that continues to remain under investigation.
Doesn't matter. If Fort Bragg is running the fourth psychological operations group over there, they could take people from here, take people from there at different times, program them MK Ultra style to do whatever they want as part of some psychological operation. They don't have to be directly connected. The fact that Ryan Routh, this dude, and the Jabbar guy were all going to Fort Bragg is highly suspicious to me.
I also know that they both served in Afghanistan in 2009. We don't have any evidence that they were in the same province in Afghanistan, the same location, or the same unit. Again,
doesn't
something
necessarily
else
matter.
that remains under investigation.
If they're just puppets of the
We also
psyops.
know, of course, that they both used the rental company Turo to rent their vehicles. As far as his military background, it's been confirmed by DOD that he was indeed in the United States Army. He was also a Green Beret operations sergeant who spent most of his time at Fort Carson, Colorado, and in Germany. He was on approved leave from Germany, where he was serving with the 10th Special Forces Group. He was also previously in the National Guard and the Army Reserve. I'd like to point out to you that through exceptional joint investigative effort, we've gotten to a place where we believe we can show you his route to Las Vegas from Colorado, and Carlos will put up the map there for you. And we know that he rented the Cybertruck in Denver on December 28th. We tracked his movements through the Tesla charging stations to Monument, Colorado on December 30th. On the 31st of December, the truck was charged in Trinidad, Colorado, Las Vegas, New Mexico, and Albuquerque and Gallup, New Mexico. On January 1st, the truck was charged in Holbrook, Flagstaff, and Kingman, Arizona. We last tracked the truck in Kingman at 05:33 yesterday morning. The truck was first spotted in Las Vegas at 7:29 a.m. yesterday. And Carlos will pull up a picture of the truck pulling onto Fashion Show Drive here. And that picture was
so stupid. Tesla or Elon was calling them out that knuckleheads picked the wrong vehicle. If they wanted to send a message to Trump and Tesla and blow out the windows and try to kill people in Trump Tower, they could have picked any other Tesla except the Cybertruck with the bomb-resistant walls and doors and windows. You've screwed yourself.
Observed at about 7:34 a.m. We know that he pulled into the Trump valet, and I believe we have a video of that. You can see the Cybertruck highlighted there. So through extensive surveillance video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard, and he spent some time in a parking lot of a business near Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard. We didn't have a video of the truck pulling back onto Las Vegas Boulevard from the sands. See that there? That's north on the boulevard from Sands at 8:39, where he then immediately heads to the Trump Hotel, pulls into the valet area, and as of course you all know, the explosion occurs within 17 seconds of his arrival at the valet.
Insane. Totally insane. So was it him? They seem to have evidence that he was in the vehicle, at least at some point. Gateway Pundit reporting on it too, saying he shot himself. We also have an image discovered of this dude wearing a Glory to Ukraine t-shirt, which is another way that he could be theoretically connected to the whole Ryan Routh situation, who is a Ukraine fanatic, boasted about setting up recently retired U.S. Special Forces for military gigs in Ukraine. Same thing that Ryan Routh was doing, cruising around the country, getting people to join the Ukraine effort. Let's see. Senior law enforcement sources confirmed to KOAA news outlet that Livelsberger was the driver. Authorities believe it was triggered by a detonation system controlled by Livelsberger, who died in the attack. But if he shot himself, then how could he detonate? Is it like detonate? Oh, it's going to be 5 seconds. Then you shoot yourself. Like, what? Doesn't make any sense. It's so weird, man. You'd think you could just hit the button and then explode with the vehicle. According to Gateway pundit contributor Jason Sullivan, Livelsberger was seen wearing a T-shirt with a "Glory to Ukraine," but written in Ukrainian on the shirt. This is a well-known slogan associated with Ukrainian patriotism and nationalism. The symbol below the text resembles the trident, the national emblem of Ukraine. So there he is, allegedly wearing the shirt. Censoring out the lady with him. And he was supposedly recruiting recently retired U.S. Special Forces, bragging about it on his LinkedIn. I've got a top 18D recently, ETSD, who is looking for justice opportunities. Sent him your way, Livelsberger wrote in response to a hiring contract op on Ukraine. Crazy, 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 crazy. What are the odds? Let's hop over and hear Harrison Smith breaking down the details of the 4th Psychological Operations Group at Fort Bragg and the whole situation. Alex Jones posted this saying, this has inside job written all over it. Breaking update, why are both New Year's Day attackers associated with the U.S. Army headquarters for psychological operations? Deep state connection between Las Vegas and New Orleans attacker exposed. And they also talk about the Ryan Routh connection in here as well.
New reports suggest Fort Bragg connection between New Orleans attacker and Las Vegas Cybertruck driver. Now, Fort Bragg is what it used to be known as. Now it's known as Fort Liberty, since some of the...
Yeah, perfect. Because if you don't want it to be blamed on the U.S. Army's 4th Psychological Operations Group, you'd make the bombs look like they were amateur, right? That's exactly what a pro would do to drive attention and blame away from themselves. So I think that this is likely an inside job. ISIS was created by the U.S. anyway. So ISIS is the puppets. The puppets of ISIS are the puppets of us. Not of us, but of the deep state, in my opinion.
Name changes took place. But this just so happens to be the headquarters of the 4th Psychological Operations Group. That is the primary psychological operations group in the American military, is based at Fort Liberty, North Carolina, formerly Fort Bragg. Both of these guys apparently spent time there. 4th Psychological Operations Group. It's one of the United States Army's active military information support operations unit, along with the 8th Psychological Operations Unit Airborne, which was located also at Fort Liberty. So both of these are at Fort Liberty, formerly Fort Bragg. In 2010, an announcement was made that the military intends to rename Psychological Operations, or PSYOP, to Military Information Support Operations.
Military Information Support Operations.
So even the name of the PSYOP group is kind of a PSYOP.
PSYOPs wrapped inside of PSYOPs, man. Exactly, fishing French Indian. Our tax dollars are being used for all the wrong reasons. All of them, not just some of the wrong reasons, all of them.
The deep state, the powers that be, the globalists, whatever you want to call them, are very, very good at setting up sort of win-win situations for themselves, where either you have to do what they want, which in this case would be like go to war with Iran, start another Middle East war. Lindsey Graham came out saying, oh, these terrorist attacks are terrible, and it's all because we left Afghanistan, and we have to keep Islam on the back foot around the world, or else we're unsafe at home. So, clearly continue.
Commodore Smelling McGroin, Happy New Year, Smelling. Hope all is well with you and yours. Good to see you, my friend. And yeah, military information, military intelligence, oxymoronic all.
Doing the endless war in the Middle East, around the world, or else we're unsafe at home. So, clearly continuing the endless war in the Middle East is the desired outcome of, anything that's happening around the world right now. But at the same time, the threat of Islamic terror and these stay-behind networks, these very, very, very widespread potential, sleeper cells throughout America and Europe are also very real. So you can't just ignore it. You can't just say, oh, it's all fake. They're trying to get us to go to war. This isn't a real threat. It is a real threat. But at the same time, the outcome that they are pushing us towards is just more warfare, which is really the reason why any of this is happening, because of our participation in really brutal wars in the Middle East for the last several decades.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the
Continues
Alex
really
Jones
good.
Show. I am Chase
What a view.
Geiser, joined by the esteemed Harrison Smith, host of the American Journal from 8 to 11 a.m. Show your support for him by going to thealexjonesstore.com/Harrison. Thank you so much for agreeing to join me for an hour after doing a 3-hour show already today. I appreciate you coming on. You have really done the deep dive into all this stuff, specifically around Fort Bragg. What's on your mind?
Thank you for having me on. We do have some new information that just broke a few minutes ago, so we can get into that. But yeah, there is a very bizarre connection between the driver of the truck in New Orleans and the explosion of the Cybertruck in Las Vegas. Apparently, both of these events were carried out by members of the U.S. military, one of whom, at least, was still active in the military. And that is some of the news stuff that's coming out just minutes ago from Gateway Pundit. Las Vegas Cybertruck bomber identified as 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty U.S. Special Forces soldier, the perpetrator behind this shocking Cybertruck bombing.
Interesting smell. And saying, I don't have the specifics, but I heard something about some sort of elite Soviet outfit seen in Mexico. Why would they be there? Good question,
Identified as 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger of Colorado Springs, Colorado. One of the, basically you have this other headline from Gateway Pundit that says, the FBI claims no definitive link between New Orleans terror attack and Las Vegas Cybertruck bomb incident. And there might not be a definitive link, but there's certainly a vague and curious one. New report suggests Fort Bragg connection between New Orleans attacker and Las Vegas Cybertruck driver. Now, Fort Bragg is what it used to be known as. Now it's known as Fort Liberty, since some of the name changes took place. But this just so happens to be the headquarters of the 4th Psychological Operations Group. That is the primary psychological operations group in the American military, is based at Fort Liberty, North Carolina, formerly Fort Bragg. Both of these guys apparently spent time there. There's also rumors, but I tried for about 30 minutes before coming on to confirm these, that the second Trump assassin, Ryan Routh, the Ukraine recruiter, deep state asset, if I know anything, has spent 147 days at Fort Bragg over the last few years, or at least visited it 147 times.
We have the Tony Saruga post over here, posted by John Cremians USA. Make sure to add in this other coincidence. Golf course attempted assassin Ryan Routh visited Fort Bragg 147 times. Tony Saruga saying after extensive cell phone, laptop, and vehicle GPS data analysis going back 4 years, Ryan Wesley Routh visited Fort Bragg 147 times, staying overnight on 29 occasions. Breaking. The suspects in yesterday's attacks on Bourbon Street in New Orleans and Trump Tower in Las Vegas both served at Fort Bragg, the same military base Ryan Routh visited over 100 times before attempting to take Donald Trump's life. It's got to be connected.
Staying overnight 29 times. Again, I've been able
I'd heard that before today, too. That was something that had been circulating weeks ago, even.
Exactly. So this is not something that, they learned about the Fort Bragg connection, and then people said Ryan Routh went there. It was several days ago, and I traced it back to the original statement, but it was somebody on X. I've not been able to find any, mainstream media articles confirming that rumor, but...
Look at this. Six just posted the 4th PSYOP group. Their Instagram account. Oh my God, it looks terrifying. I'm scared to click on some of these. They're going to have a good video coming up in a second, though, about PSYOPs.
Still, that was the rumor going around before any of these events happened, was that Ryan Routh, the second Trump shooter, had visited Fort Bragg 147 times, staying overnight 29 times. So there's a very significant connection between Fort Bragg and at least these two attacks yesterday, but possibly the assassination attempt as well.
Tell me a little bit more about Fort Bragg. Now, before you came on, you mentioned that it was kind of the hub of psychological warfare operations. What do you know about that?
Well, it is one of the primary hubs of the psychological operations. And this is just well known. You can go to Wikipedia. I have the Wikipedia article here for the 4th Psychological Operations Group. It's one of the United States Army's active military information support operations unit, along with the 8th Psychological Operations Unit Airborne, which was located also at Fort Liberty. So both of these are at
Bragg
Fort Liberty,
Ultra.
formerly Fort Bragg.
Good one, Dirk.
In 2010, an announcement was made that the military intends to rename Psychological Operations, or PSYOP, to Military Information Support Operations. So even the name of the PSYOP group is kind of a PSYOP.
Oh my God. I'm looking at the dates too on this overhead cam. 13th of September 1972 to present. I mean, it's kind of right around the time when it came out, what was happening with MK Ultra. We know that since no one was held accountable for MK Ultra, we know that they likely, after they burned the documents, just continued the same program under.
Yeah, MK Ultra, MK Naomi, etc. Here's the 4th Psychological Operations Group Wikipedia page. Thanks. 6. Verbum vincit. In other words, use words to conquer. Veni, vidi, vici. Vincit, victory. Yeah, so pretty crazy. A change from traditional warfare using psychological operations, using words to win wars. Verbum vincit.
Or a different name or a different auspice. Yeah. Typically, that tends to be what happens when there's no accountability for any of this corruption. Now, I'm told that there's this creepy trailer. I haven't seen it yet, Harrison. You told me about it. Clip number 68 of basically it's a propaganda trailer for psychological warfare.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, this went viral when it first came out. I couldn't even tell you when. It must have been sometime last year or the year before. But yeah, it's a 3-minute 30-second video that was made by the Psychological Operations Unit of the U.S. Army, sort of brag about what they do and how they do it. Of course, the motto of this particular group, the 4th Psychological Operations Group, is verbum vincit, which means the word will conquer. And it is all about information, using words.
So when I mentioned Veni, Vidi, Vici, Veni from venire, to come, vidi from vidire, to watch, and vici from vincere, to conquer. Vincit. Verbum vincit, words conquer. Just there, so you have a little Latin background on that.
Rhetoric, designing people's perspective and perception in order to achieve military.
Boy, and it's a bastardization of Genesis. The word of God,
right?
But now they're God, and it's their word that's going to change humanity. It's total like satanic deep state hijacking.
Or like Hillary Clinton said, "We came, we saw, he died." Fucking crazy, bitch.
We got to watch this trailer.
Oh, it's creepy. You're gonna love this.
Let's unpack it on the other side.
Let's watch. If your opponent is of a choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. Sun Tzu.
Say, sounds like Sun Tzu. When you're strong, act weak.
As the
weak act strong.
watches and listens in horror, the peaceful pro-democracy demonstration in China comes to a violent and bloody end. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Says, do you ever wonder who's pulling the strings?
Wolves hiding nearby, whispering, do or die.
From the ashes.
No way, Omega. Veni, Vidi, Vici.
Of a world at war.
Who made this?
You'll find us in the shadows. Yeah, doesn't this make you feel patriotic? At the tip of the spear.
They're stealing our lines.
It's an information war, that's for sure. A threat rises in the east.
That's right, Monty.
That we funded, by the way. Warfare is evolving. stage.
There is another very important phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
There's a war on for your mind.
For warfare is against the enemy's mind. It is words and ideas. Ammunition used by Cyborg.
Everything we touch is a weapon.
Its mission is to influence the thoughts of the enemy soldier. And at the same time, is expected and encouraged to study foreign languages and the social sciences such as history, economics, and sociology. He must have a broad and sympathetic understanding of all phases of human experience.
This is the real world, guys.
At my skin, the walls of night closing.
We come in many forms.
But the use of this force as an integral part of combat has now taken on new form.
Do that clown face?
Yep. We are everywhere.
Ed says this is scary how weak minds are, if you think about it. And that harkens to mind that video we played of Dr. Robert Malone speaking at the Mises Institute recently, where he was talking about how the whole premise of a free society is individual liberty. But even individual liberty is under fire, under threat, when introduced with fifth-generational psychological warfare type stuff that subverts individual autonomy and conditions people to behave in certain ways, undermining the very premise of a free society and people's capability to make educated and logical decisions. Really interesting presentation that he gave. I'll try to add the link to the description. For sure, Mama Mac.
In the dark.
Sorry to interrupt again, but yeah, Mama Mac is talking about how, and who created all the new mental disorders? Did they just put names to the human condition so they could medicate it? Seems that way to me. Sometimes, like, yeah, natural masculinity as a little kid, refusing to listen to figures of authority. They call it oppositional defiance disorder. Yeah, so that's going to be all of us. We're all opposition defiant disorder people over here. Oh no, Omega.
Stars. Color Revolution.
This is very good propaganda.
Oh, it's good propaganda. You got to hand it to them. Ghosts.
And we're supposed to be encouraged and inspired by this as the Americans, or are we supposed to be intimidated by it?
Well, let's be clear. What we're watching is a very, very sophisticated example of psychological warfare. Psy-War. Fort Bragg.
Coming 2025, January 1st.
Verbum Vincit.
Verbum Vincit. There it is.
Oh man, dude.
That's a little trailer for our good friends at Fort Bragg.
Look at the creepy stuff there, that old cartoon they're using with all the demonic stuff in the back. It's like it's got I can't believe I'd never seen that.
Yeah, no, it is incredibly creepy. And of course, I'm reminded of the video that came out last week of the Mossad agent that was interviewed on CBS or 60.
Remember I played that? It was so outrageous that I was like, there's no way this can be real, right? He was like, we control the banks, we control the media, the world is a stage, and we set up the narrative, and everybody that you see is our puppets. I was like, dude, that's this. Same type of shit.
60 minutes or whatever it was. Where he says the same thing.
Yes.
All the world is a stage and we control all of it. And
they had him all blacked out with his voice masked, right?
Yeah,
right.
But what's so funny is my response to that was the quote that's at the beginning of this clip, which is, when you're strong, appear weak. When you're weak, appear strong. I mean, this is.
Well, they even said everything's a stage. With the shot of the screen.
Thing, yeah. So what we just witnessed, that little video there, was a very sophisticated piece of propaganda and psychological warfare.
What they make it for, though? Are they trying to recruit? Are they trying to intimidate our opponents?
What up?
Who was the target audience of that video?
That is a great question, because clearly, I mean, somebody got paid a lot to make that video. That was a very high quality piece of work there. So, clearly they paid a lot for it. But, it could be to intimidate people out of feeling like we have a chance, feeling like we can stand up against them. The whole thing is we're so powerful, we're everywhere, we're in the shadows, we control everything. When in reality, half the government can't put its pants on the right direction and, don't know how to do anything
That's
ever.
true, but if our government's efficient in anything, it's the death of hundreds of thousands or millions of innocent people.
Fucking brutal, man. Brutal. So yeah, Crazy B sent me this one. This might be real, it might not. Either way, it's alarming. It's real, Crazy B. Breaking: the suspects in yesterday's attacks on Bourbon Street in New Orleans and Trump Tower in Las Vegas both served at Fort Bragg, the same military base Ryan Routh visited over 100 times before attempting to take Donald Trump's life. Crazy. And it all connects to this. You may remember this interview with, I think her name is Sarah Adams, on Sean Ryan's show.
A while ago.
And this was Senator John Kennedy briefing the public on the attack in New Orleans after it occurred.
We have not had a man walk up to a building with a vest on the United States. Americans don't understand this. Al-Qaeda knows this, right? So this is new and innovative, especially now. You don't have to walk upside of the building. You can walk in the building because of the advancement of the vest. The other thing is, in the United States, we haven't had Fideian attackers. So the concept is the terrorist fights to the death. So he's not exactly a bomber, but he will fight till either all of us are dead or all of his people are dead. We think it's going to be a swarming attack, right? Multiple different attacks at one time across multiple cities. We think there will be bombers just because some of the attackers went through bomber training and they have these vests. And then we think there's these Fideian attackers who will carry on until they're killed.
You just rephrase that. So these guys are trained and they are going to fight until they're killed.
Yes.
Let's talk about Las Vegas because...
Well, I've seen some pretty compelling evidence, Monty, that Stevie Wonder can see. So, but yes. If Stevie Wonder is blind, then yes, perfect analogy. Perfect, you could say. Let's check in with Jones, too. So we got to watch out for all that stuff. The suicide bombers, which is basically what we just saw in Vegas. Dude shot himself in the head, blew up the truck. Effectively trying to be a suicide bomber. Thankfully, it was a cyber truck. But Jones has some good information at the beginning of today's broadcast as well. I only saw the first few minutes.
While other networks
But good analysis.
Visit info.
It's Thursday, January 2nd.
You don't see Jones in the snow much. Look at him out there in the wilderness, we're surrounded by the snow. What a change from balmy Texas.
2025. I am your host, Alex Jones, and we are about to break down
Helen Keller.
the latest intel on what's really happening with the 2 terror attacks we saw yesterday and what's coming next. Now, as we have precisely predicted...
Don't know, Ronnie, but I'll take your word for it.
In the last year, as soon as Trump became president-elect...
Twerky!
The globalists would escalate war with Russia. They would launch a new pandemic hysteria. They would also try to pull the rug out from under the economy.
Beautiful.
They would then activate the ISIS Al-Qaeda cells
just as we all predicted.
Biden, in the last 3 years, has resupplied with $80+ billion from the Afghan withdrawal.
October 7th, like that night or the night after, the first time I did like at least since like 2019 or 2020, did like a political podcast, I saw that Lou Valentino was live. And they were talking about October 7th, and I called in because I had some really good point. But my point involved that it was also setting the stage for attacks here with ISIS cells and stuff like that. So I've been calling this since October of 2023.
And other funding. Then you saw the overthrow of Syria using Al-Qaeda, actually putting Al-Qaeda in charge of that country. So we know that the Democrats... that whole arm of the deep state is openly running and controlling these groups. That doesn't mean that the useful idiots, the Islamicists from overseas and that they recruited here domestically, like the attacker on the New Year's revelers in New Orleans yesterday morning at 3 a.m. And now we know that the man that blew himself up in Vegas out front Trump International Hotel was also a bomb specialist from the same military base as the man who attacked and who was ISIS there in New Orleans, and his accomplices that have escaped, and the ongoing manhunt for that. We're about to break down what all this really signifies right now.
We'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event.
The first thing that needs to be said about the New Orleans terror attack using the truck and the accomplices and the state police and the FBI saying that there were other people working with the attacker that tried to plant and detonate bombs, who then again escaped and are believed to have run to Texas, and the ongoing manhunt in Texas and other areas of the country, is that they themselves probably don't even know that they are cutouts of a larger globalist crime syndicate that we know is funding Al-Qaeda and ISIS and that directs their leadership. And of course, this has come out for decades after decades. It goes back to Jimmy Carter, it's been to Brzezinski in the late 70s, making a deal with the Mujahideen that then became Al-Qaeda, and then, of course, leading right through until today. And that is a fact. Our government with Israel and Turkey and NATO just turned over, as I said earlier, Syria to Al-Qaeda, and CNN saying, well, the former leader of Al-Qaeda is no longer Al-Qaeda, but he's now the good guy. So when you...
Yeah, he's the good guy now. Real quick, make sure to subscribe to Crazy Bee's channel, Questions That Need Answers, over on Rumble. She just dropped episode 49.2 3 hours ago. Make sure to give her a subscribe, a follow over there. Thanks, guys. Crazy Bee, we love you. Thanks for all your help with the show.
When you see these type of things happening, you have to understand that higher up, these people are being organized, funded, and controlled. And you've got all these ISIS and Al-Qaeda leaders on record coming across the border in the last few years, even bragging, you don't know who I am, but you will see now. Like known
Remember that?
ISIS, Al-Qaeda leaders from places like Azerbaijan.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're going to know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
I'm just laying out some of the basic facts right now. Next, I'm going to get into the big picture and who I see behind this and strategically where these moves are going. So there's thousands of data points that go into this, but I'm going to try to just break them all down so that we can put a warning out to the public and a warning out to President Trump, because you can better believe the deep state is heavily involved in these attacks and more are coming.
Is anybody doing anything?
No, and actually, Al-Qaeda makes a joke out of the fact that they move the money we give to the Taliban to the camps that train the homeland attackers, right? So it's almost like an insider joke, like, yes, we are forcing America to fund their own attacks. So that is the plan, too, that the money will go back to us and our government. And then that makes Americans also look at our government like it's an inside job.
So recapping.
Local honey,
in less than 24 hours, a former Army member who is an Islamicist plows his car into a bunch of people in New Orleans at a New Year's revelry outdoors, kills now 15, dozens and dozens others seriously injured. The state police put out their report that at least 3 accomplices were trying to plant bombs. There are manhunts going on in areas of Houston shut down. You have a Tesla truck loaded with gasoline, explosives, and fireworks exploding in front of Trump International Hotel. And it's a former Army ordnance specialist or bomb specialist, munition specialist, who supposedly blows himself up in the vehicle, or then there's manhunts, and they've got standoffs with people on buses, and just all this craziness going on. And then you have the backdrop of that with the situation in the Middle East, with the federal government openly backing Al-Qaeda, which is the same thing as ISIS, to take over Syria. All of this with Trump getting into office in just 18 days. Now,
Yep, Jones has been intermittent fasting, which I do as well, eating within an 8-hour window only during the day. And he's also been on the Ozempic of the Sea, some kind of sea moss product that I think is available from Alex Jones, the AlexJonesStore.com, maybe drjonesnaturals.com, not sure. But he's been on the Ozempic of the Sea, Cass.
Now, big picture, I see this as an ongoing PSYOP destabilization campaign, just like the UAV hysteria, just like the escalation of war and the bombing inside Russia with heavy cruise missiles.
Glad to see him healthy.
And Storm Shadows and others. And then we see the Iranian-connected individuals and Pakistan, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS-connected individuals being, quote, busted, trying to kill Trump in the last few months. And we have the feds, still run by the Democrats right now, saying that there are plots to kill Trump and that the Iranians are behind it and that we're going to have to attack Iran so that, again, they can start staging these attacks as a precursor to assassinate Trump with a larger, more professional truck bomb or shoot down his plane with a surface-to-air missile and then be able to blame Iran and get full war with Iran, who's allied with Russia and China, at the same time taking out Trump. That's what I see front and center in all of this. It's also come out that the ISIS sympathizer that led the attack in New Orleans had been in trouble repeatedly when he was in the Army for radical Islamic affiliations and statements, but nothing was done. Again, continually, the intelligence agencies, the leadership of the U.S. military is protecting these individuals. Just like
So frustrating. So frustrating. And in case you're curious about the Ozempic of the sea, here it is: Ultimate Sea Moss capsules, bladder wrack, and burdock root at the alexjonesstore.com. Just FYI.
It's like we see the FBI leading these different white supremacist groups that they're trying to get to go out and blow up power stations. This is all part of creating the narrative ahead of a cascade of big events, either before Trump gets in or after he gets in. But right now, I want to look at what they said in the first few hours after the attack in New Orleans, where they brought out the DEI lady who could barely talk with a nose ring to say, this is not.
Just looking at that lady, I could not see a soul. She just looked like a blank android to me. Like, there's no life in those eyes of that woman saying, not a terror incident yesterday.
Terrorism. And then Senator Kennedy pushes her aside and says, look, I already know what's going on. The feds better not lie. You better not try to pull this because we're not going to put up with it. Because back then they were still trying to cover up the ISIS flag and all the rest of it. But because of Kennedy and the public and others and X and everybody exposing it, they had to quickly stop trying to cover up like they've done with so many of the other Islamicist attacks. Here's part of those crazy exchanges.
We'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event.
Can I say something right quick? Tell me who you're with.
WDSU.
WDSU. Okay, and CBS.
NBC's over here on the right.
Oh, that's an unusual position.
Get out of the way, lady.
I don't get
it. You wouldn't. Look, there's a lot of information going around. Some of it is actually true.
That's right, Angel.
Some of it isn't. The federal government is now in charge of this investigation. By that, I mean the White House, the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Department of Justice. Here's what I want to ask from the federal government. Catch these people. Catch these people. And then tell the American people the truth. Now, I don't want you...
Catch them. They're not going to catch their own people.
So what's the moral of the
like
story?
the J6 pipe bomber.
Because Senator Kennedy and the state police in Louisiana wouldn't go along with the cover-up of this being ISIS, that they were still trying to push 10 hours after the attack. Then the feds, still run by the whole Obama globalist crime syndicate, had to come out and admit what this really was. Now, yesterday, I got contacted by Texas law enforcement who were very concerned about the fact that they knew about other people very closely connected to this individual in the Texas A&M area, and that the feds had not reached out to them, that there were no investigators there, and that no one was going to some of the last known addresses of these individuals. Here's that report. I've got a breaking, exclusive, very important piece of information concerning the ongoing terror attack investigation into the truck attack that killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, and they rolled up the flag and duct taped it once the truck was parked so that people couldn't continue seeing that it was an ISIS flag, covering it up on the spot.
In New Orleans,
in my opinion.
This morning, we're going to be getting to a Fox News piece in a moment where the state police and others have confirmed that at least 3 other accomplices are reportedly trying to plant bombs and had detonators and have fled the scene. There is now a manhunt going on around the country, particularly in Houston, Texas, where an area has been cordoned off. And the FBI has said, don't go into that area. And we have a lot more we'll get to in a moment. But first, the exclusive information. A trusted law enforcement source in Texas reached out to me just about an hour ago and said that there'd been an investigation already into this individual and others. And the last known address of one of his family members, his brother, is there in College Station there in Bryan. And that the police chief and others are aware of this and concerned, but so far, the feds haven't reached out to them, and they don't see any federal activity there. So this is a big deal. At least 3 accomplices running around planting bombs, detonators, all of this. I'll play the little Fox News update on that in a moment. But I already cut reports this morning saying I bet more of this is going to happen. Then you've got the cyber truck, now clearly an explosive blowing up, reportedly with the driver inside, probably detonating it. That's a message to Elon Musk and President Trump as a threat. 19 days till the president gets in. And so we've been predicting that we probably see some Islamic terror attacks connected to ISIS and Al-Qaeda here very, very soon. We know the Biden administration has been working with them, giving them weapons. They helped them take over Syria with Turkey and Israel. This is
new information on that,
very, very dangerous. But a big investigation centered in and around Houston. And so far, no investigation going on that we know of from law enforcement, though they're concerned they're in the A&M area. So everybody get this report out because we're going to obviously try to stop further attacks. But everybody needs to be frosty right now.
Frosty, baby. Stay frosty. Stay strapped up where legal as well. So, yeah, look at this. ISIS terror brought to you by the Biden administration. Just in, FBI has released new photos of the New Orleans attacker Jabbar walking down Bourbon Street, as well as a photo of the supposed ice cooler IED. This comes after the FBI said they had 0 prior intel on Jabbar, despite the fact that he publicly pledged his allegiance to ISIS, promised to carry out an attack, and learned how to build remotely detonated bombs. What the hell does the FBI do anymore? Yeah, it looks like they had some information potentially. July 11th, so who knows? Who knows? They're just finding out about this guy now. Do you guys believe that? They're probably too focused on parents at school board meetings, probably, unfortunately. But, speaking of the IEDs and stuff in the area, here we go. Far left Orleans Parish DA calls for imposing fascist European-style spying measures on Americans to stop, quote-unquote, future terror attacks. Yeah, just give up all your freedoms, then you'll be safe. Was it Benjamin Franklin? Those who would trade their freedom for security deserve neither and end up losing both. Yeah, I think that was Benjamin Franklin. So radical leftists are wasting absolutely no time trying to capitalize on yesterday's terror attack in New Orleans, following the advice of Rahm Emanuel to, quote, never let a crisis go to waste. You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. That's the exact quote. I have it in one of my songs. As Gateway Pundit reported, a homegrown Islamic terrorist mowed down dozens of innocent revelers. 15 people at least perished as of now, with 35 more wounded. Quote, let's see. Let's see. Hold on. Sorry. Soros-backed Orleans Parish District Attorney Jason Williams appeared on MSNBC this morning to give his take on the evil attack. Like a true Marxist, Williams decided to utilize this evil attack as an opportunity to demand changes to the everyday lives of Americans. So they want to be able to spy on you, so they let this type of thing happen to create a panic in the problem, reaction, solution paradigm. Think they're just coming up with these solutions right now? I don't think so. He opened his screed by proclaiming that Americans were going to have to make privacy sacrifices to the state, especially during large gatherings. Let's check out the clip.
Things are going to have to change. Just after 9/11, I remember a time when I could run from my car to the gate to catch a flight. After 9/11, we realized we need to do things very, very differently so that we can all arrive at our destination safely. I think you're going to see a lot of things change in this.
Yeah, they're going to ban coolers. They're going to ban cyber trucks. They're going to ban fireworks. They're going to ban gasoline. All things that they want to do. There's the opportunity. Here's the opportunity.
In New Orleans. And actually, I think you're going to see a lot of things change in this country in terms of how we handle large-scale events. where there is pedestrian access and where vehicles are allowed. I think you're going to see things change in terms of the level of surveillance that we have in this country. We've pushed back against some of that, but when you look at places,
Yeah, Daryl something ran over a bunch of singing grannies in Waukesha, I think it was. Super fucked up, Monty.
it's like the UK and other European places where
Do we want to be like the UK? No, we broke away from the UK. We fought a war to do that, and we need to finish the job because we're still effectively puppets of the banking empire of the city of London. There's 3 power centers in the world. There's Washington, D.C., which is the military power center. There's the city of London, which is its own little not isolated, but separate incorporated city inside of London. That's the banking empire center for the world. And then there's the religious center, which is the Vatican. But yeah, we need to finish the job and completely have an international reset where we separate ourselves from entangling alliances and connections with other countries like the UK and restart from scratch. We need to finish the job that got started in 1776.
CCTV is very commonplace and used proactively so that it can look for signs or indications of an attack. I think you're going to start seeing those things in this city because I'm going to be pushing.
Yeah, and you're going to start seeing people going around and slicing them down, chopping down the CCTV cameras. Good luck with that.
And you're going to probably see them in a lot of other places that are destination cities like the city of New Orleans.
Jason, will you be going to the game tonight? And do you think that it was the right call to give a deadline, essentially, to this investigation?
Just assault Fords. Yeah, we're going to ban assault Fords, ban assault Cybertrucks. Good one, Angel. Oh, man. So insane. So insane. Let's see. Apparently, I think Ed posted this a little while ago. Biden gives Liz Cheney a Presidential Medal of Freedom as she faces January 6th FBI investigation. Holy balls. From Black conservative perspective. Thanks, Ed.
Just remember,
let's see what's going on here.
Committee, a year and a half of sworn testimony, and after getting all of the testimony, they deleted it. And they destroyed almost everything. There's nothing left. It's unprecedented.
And they deny doing that.
If you do that in a civil case, you go to jail.
You know they deny doing that. And officials say that the order never came in for the National Guard.
You know, you're a lying propagandist, right?
On January 6th. Let me ask you this about January 6th. I think
Benny
you're going to want to
Thompson
answer
wrote
this.
in a statement that he has destroyed all evidence.
Let me ask you this about
It's
January
amazing.
6th.
I wish you
That's
could be.
Monty.
If you have such potential. If you could be just non-biased.
Does it really, Alpha?
You hurt yourself so badly. I'm
Probably
telling you, they deleted and destroyed all the evidence. Everyone knows it. And you.
All right, let's skip ahead to the relevant portion
A
of this
few
video.
moments later.
Biden will award the Presidential Citizens Medal to 20 people, including leading members of the January 6th congressional panel leaders. Mississippi Congressman Benny Thompson and former Congresswoman Liz Cheney of Montana will receive the second highest civilian award for leading the probe into the 2021 insurrection. At the same event last year, the president honored people who were involved in defending the Capitol from the rioters.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Joe Biden, who appears to have a harder one for trying to undermine Trump. Okay, we're going to talk about a couple stories today of Joe Biden trying to be a thorn in Trump's side before he gets into office. The first story that I want to talk about here in this video is about Joe Biden rewarding Liz Cheney for her alleged criminal activity when it comes to her work with the January 6th committee and being a complete and total failure. This is basically a participation trophy, a participation award for Liz Cheney, who he is also apparently thinking about pardoning.
Listen, people.
They might claim it was an official proceeding, but they, from what I understand, it was they didn't follow the right guidelines to set up a committee, so it may not even be legitimate.
Elizabeth L. Cheney for putting the American people over party.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought you meant, TV.
Yeah, see, they hear that. Is anybody surprised that Democrats are basically giving out participation trophies at this point? Okay, they've lost so badly that they're now giving out participation trophies because the fraudulent January 6th committee
hope you get a better night's sleep
did not
TV.
throw Trump in jail, which was their goal, right? Their goal was to throw Trump in jail, at the very least, stop him from becoming president again. And Liz Cheney failed. Benny Thompson failed as well, too. And Biden is rewarding failure. Okay, this is participation trophy culture right before our very eyes at the White House. Okay, they're honoring Liz Cheney for betraying the Republican Party, betraying her voters. This is why she got voted out of office, okay, in a humiliating fashion. But if this is what Democrats want to do, right? They want to set the precedent of giving the second highest civilian award to people who betray their party. Then I think that Trump should give a presidential citizen's medal to Tulsi Gabbard, right? Give a medal to Tulsi Gabbard. I think that Tulsi Gabbard deserves one of these awards, right? If that is what Democrats are doing, okay, if all you got to do is betray your party in order to get one of these.
Yeah, line her up. Get her an award. Get her an award. How about this? Sam shared this in chat. We have another prophecy. Is this the same guy who made the prophecy about the Trump having his ear shot?
We plead the blood of Jesus over Tennessee, over Nashville. Very interesting. Father, I thank you, Lord, that you're rising up. And Las Vegas, over Las Vegas, Father, I just seen a glimpse of Vegas. Oh, are these all on the same day? I pray over Las Vegas, Lord. Oh, it is. I just seen a glimpse of New Orleans, Bourbon Street. It is an attack simultaneously when people are distracted. When people are distracted, wushta, they put with drinking, much drinking, with much drinking in these areas, with intoxication in these areas. On these streets that I'm seeing, there's people that are very intoxicated. Their senses are not alerted for what's happening. Now, in these areas are picked. There's bars. It's not as strong in New Orleans as Tennessee and Nevada.
Pirate style.
As Tennessee and in Las Vegas. As Nashville and Las Vegas, the party scene. There's something about New Orleans, but it's not as strong as what I see about these two places. There's something more. It's like one and many. But I would say New Orleans is darkest, but there's just one man and many. It's a massed plan. It's a mass plans. For we take authority over this in the name of Jesus. We plead the blood of Jesus.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Good find, Sam. Thanks for sending that. Pretty accurate. Pretty accurate. Alpha Boss, is this a signal like you mean to, is he in on it, like letting people know it's the time to go? Is that what you're suggesting? Anything is possible, like Kevin Garnett said. How about this? Biden moves to permanently ban offshore oil and gas drilling in final bid to block Trump's energy agenda. This, oh man, this one makes me...
pure evil!
Pure evil! It's pure, unadulterated, 100% evil. Biden, you're a fucking bastard, dude. You're a bastard. All right, let's go ahead and end the YouTube broadcast before we continue over here, since we're already past an hour. Let me post a link in the YouTube chat. Boom. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, we're about to go Rumble and exclusive. Come and join us over on Alt Tech, where the water is warm and we can speak freely. If you can't make it, we'll be back tomorrow for more Common Censored. Until then, let's get ready to rumble!